Revealed, how my sister's incredible decision as CEO transformed our family business in 30 days. The air in Sarah's family diner was thick with the scent of sizzling bacon and freshly brewed coffee as she stepped behind the counter, her heart pounding like a drum. Just weeks ago, she was a waitress. Her father, the steadfast military man who built the diner, had retired abruptly due to a health crisis. Now, she was the CEO, a title that felt foreign against the backdrop of flaking paint and nostalgic photos lining the walls. But within her, a fire had ignited, a burning desire to breathe life back into this place that had been her childhood haven. The diner had seen better days. Rising costs and changing tastes were competing against the legacy of her grandmother's beloved recipes. Sarah felt the weight of tradition pushing down on her shoulders like a heavy cloak. How could she juggle her father's insistence on sticking to the old ways while also fighting to save what was left? The familiar chatter of the regulars felt like a weighty reminder of the stakes at hand. "Are you really going to change it up?" Jake, her older brother, had stormed into the kitchen the moment news broke of their father's condition. His arms crossed tightly, his expression firm as granite. "This diner is our family's heart. We can't just let it go because you want to be some kind of a trendy chef." Tension crackled between them. But Sarah couldn't ignore the mountain of bills piling up, the whispers of impending closure. She had to make a choice. Could she honor her father while also modernizing the menu? As the storm clouds rolled in one afternoon, fury raging through the skies, Sarah felt a surge of clarity. She stood before a group of employees, her voice gaining strength. "How about we offer free meals to families affected by the storm? Let us help the community and show them we care." Surprise teetered on their faces, but soon turned to agreement. When the word spread, locals flocked in. The diner became more than just a meal stop, it was a refuge, a balm for the weary. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, and the diner changed. Social media buzzed with the hashtag #HeartOfTheCommunity. Their signature spin on family recipes like Grandma's mashed potatoes blended with truffle oil became the talk of the town. New customers poured in, the floating smell of pot roast enticing even more devout traditionalists. Yet, Jake's frustrations festered, the bond they once shared thinned by resentment. "You're turning this place into something it's not," he shouted one evening after a particularly busy service. Each word pierced through her like a knife. Would ambition doom their family legacy? Amid the soaring success and whispers of betrayal, a letter arrived. Its weathered paper bore their family's crest, and inside lay a family secret tied to their father's past, a revelation that could alter everything Sarah thought she knew about loyalty, legacy, and love. As thunder cracked outside and emotions swirled like wind before the storm, she felt a decision looming. Would she embrace this new path, or was the past worth clinging to? And more importantly, would it be enough to reunite a family ripped apart by change? In that moment, the diner felt more like a battlefield than home, and her heart raced with the urgent need for unity. The future was a whisper away, but the question remained, could the marrow of family endure the weight of progress? The letter trembled in Sarah's hands as she tried to catch her breath. The smell of coffee lingered in the air, but now it seemed suffocating. She unfolded the crinkled paper, revealing the familiar scrawl of her father's handwriting. Each word felt like a stone, dragging her deeper into the weight of the family secret. As she read the words, her heart raced. Her father had concealed a chapter of their family history that tied directly to the diner, one filled with both pride and shame. It told of sacrifices made, choices that shaped their legacy, and moments that defined who they were. As she processed the information, Sarah felt the stirring of her resolve. This wasn't just about her ideas for the menu or Jake's fears, it was about understanding her family's journey, a transparency that could either bind them together or tear them apart. "What's that?" Jake's sharp tone broke the silence. He loomed in the doorway, arms crossed, a frown etched on his face. The storm outside echoed the turmoil within. "Just something Dad wrote," she replied, her voice shaky. She clutched the letter to her chest, guarding it like a secret that could alter everything. "Why don't you just tell me what's in there?" he pressed, suspicion shadowing his features. "It's about the diner, our family things you don't know," she whispered. For a moment, silence hung between them like the storm clouds outside. Then, with a huff, Jake stepped forward, determination written all over his face. "If it's so important, let us hear it. We need to be on the same page." Sarah's chest tightened. Her pulse quickened as she battled with the weight of revelation against the need to protect. But part of her yearned for connection, to bridge the chasm that had grown between them. As thunder rumbled, she exhaled sharply, "Okay, but you must promise to listen." With hesitant curiosity, Jake nodded and she cleared her throat. "It talks about Grandma's recipes, how they were more than just family dishes. They were our way of holding on to memories, of keeping our family together during tough times. Dad had to fight to keep this place open when things got tough after the war. They had nothing but each other and this diner." As the words flowed, Jake's demeanor softened. Sarah could see the flicker of importance sparking in his eyes. "But what happened? Why didn't he tell us?" She felt a knot in her throat but pressed on, revealing more about the decisions that led to their father's retirement and the strain of keeping the diner afloat. Each revelation stripped layers off their family legacy, exposing cracks that needed mending. "He buried these feelings to protect us. But we can't move forward until we face them. I believe we can honor him with our own choices, create something that blends the past with the future," she finished, seeking his acceptance with every ounce of her heart. The weight of silence stretched between them, the air charged with unspoken words. "So, it's not just about the diner, is it?" Jake finally murmured, sensing the deeper truths that had been hidden. She shook her head slowly. "No, it's about us, Jake. It's about what are we willing to carry forward. Do we continue to fight separate battles, or come together to honor everything our family stands for?" Jake's face seemed to soften as he absorbed the depths of her words. Just as he seemed to find a way forward, the lights flickered, others in the diner looking around in confusion. The storm was drawing closer, the air was heavy not just from rain, but from uncertainty. With every staff member chattering quietly, Sarah could feel the urgency pulsing. If they wouldn't come together now, might the diner itself become yet another casualty of their divided lives? "Let us protect it, together," she said quietly, feeling the resolve surfacing again. Could they unite in their time of crisis? Or would the weight of family secrets tear them apart when they needed each other the most? As the wind howled outside, a thought burned in her heart: changes were coming, and not just in the diner. Would they stand together or would they allow the storm to continue pushing them apart? The wind picked up, roaring around the diner like a hungry beast. Sarah felt the vibrations beneath her feet, and the din of the storm seemed to mimic her heartbeat. She stole a glance at Jake, whose eyes were searching hers, trapped somewhere between distrust and a flicker of hope. "Okay, let us do this," Jake said, taking a step back to lean against the counter. "But we can't just talk. We need to make a plan. This diner, it's more than just a business, it's the heart of our family. If we're going to save it, we need a clear idea of what we're doing." The urgency in his voice tugged at Sarah's heartstrings. This was the connection she'd been craving, the momentum towards something greater. Gathering her breath, she replied, "You're right. We need to honor everyone. Dad, Grandma, all of their hard work. But we have to adapt. What do you think we should do?" As thunder cracked outside, Jake pushed himself upright, his eyes brightening with ideas. "What if we modernize the menu but keep Grandma's recipes as the foundation? Maybe a weekly special that highlights those dishes?" Sarah's heart lifted at the suggestion. "Yes. We can introduce new flavors, maybe even some local ingredients. We can host community nights, bring families together. People miss that sense of togetherness." The visions danced in her mind like fireflies, illuminating the way forward. The other staff members, who had been tentatively listening, began to perk up, their expressions shifting from concern to curiosity. The diner was more than a job, for many, it was home. "Count me in," shouted Maria, the waitress who had been part of the diner since Sarah could remember. "People love our food. If you blend in new ideas, I'm sure they'll come back." Jake nodded in agreement. "We need everyone on board. Let us meet after hours. Share ideas, brainstorm. Everyone's voice matters." A glimmering hope filled the room. They were no longer just fragments of a family but a team, united by purpose. Sarah felt the weight lift slightly from her shoulders. If they could harness this energy, possibly channel their love for the diner, they could create something beautiful. Amidst the chatter, Sarah sensed a shift. The storm outside may have been raging, but inside the diner, new life was budding. Each voice added weight, a butterfly lifted from a chrysalis, ready to soar. Just as laughter began to sprinkle through the previous tension, the windows rattled violently. The lights flickered once, then twice, before plunging the diner into darkness. People gasped, a wave of fear washing over them. "Everyone, stay calm," Jake shouted, his voice cutting through the sudden shroud of panic. "We've prepared for this. Grab your phones for light, and let us gather." As the din of footsteps echoed, Sarah squinted into the dark, her heart pounding. She felt Jake's reassuring presence beside her, the connection solidifying in the pitch black. Staring into the opaque void, she whispered, "This is just another challenge, right? We can handle it. I won't let it break us again," he replied, a quiet fire igniting in his words. Suddenly, a loud crash erupted, followed by the shrill cry of shattering glass from the kitchen. Instinctively, Sarah grabbed Jake's arm. What was that? Adrenaline pumped in her veins, the thought of potential disaster swarming in her mind. "We'll check it out," he replied firmly, his voice steady. With renewed determination, they advanced toward the kitchen, stepping cautiously over the threshold of darkness. A flicker of light illuminated the figure of a frail old man standing amidst the wreckage. A ghost from their past? Or a lingering mystery threatening to reshape their present? There was only one way to find out. "Who are you?" Sarah's voice trembled, not from fear but from the weight of possibility. The unknown hovered in the air like a storm cloud waitressing to break. This was the moment that could unravel all their plans or drive them closer than ever. What was this figure hiding? Would they find answers or more secrets? The old man turned slightly, revealing a face shadowed by age yet brightened by a strange familiarity. That silver hair, those wise, tired eyes. Sarah felt her breath hitch in her throat. Could it be Grandpa? Jake stepped closer, one hand outstretched as if to bridge the gap between the living and the memories. The figure nodded, his voice trembling like the branches outside. "I've come to help." Sarah's heart raced. "Help? How? You disappeared. We thought you were gone for good." "I was lost, yes, but I had to find a way back. There is something you need to know about this diner and our family." The storm outside roared louder, echoing the whirlwind of emotions inside Sarah. She felt the weight of their predecessors resting on her shoulders, but now it was intensified by his presence. "What do you mean? What is it?" The old man shuffled a few steps into the dim light, revealing a stack of faded papers clutched protectively to his chest. "This diner isn't just a business, it's built upon secrets and legacies. I kept records, things that can guide you through this storm." Jake exchanged a quick look with Sarah, a mixture of confusion and concern. "Records? What kind of records?" "Recipes that haven't been used in years, along with the history of how your family built this place. Yes, even secrets tied to the town itself. But they must be handled with care, for not everyone will want the truth." "What truth?" Sarah pressed, her voice barely above a whisper. She took a step closer, straining to see the documents, feeling a flood of hope mixed with unease. He gestured toward the busyness of the diner, still buzzing with staff and diners trying to make light of the dark. "Your family has been through many storms. Each time, they adapted, but sometimes hidden decisions were made." Sarah felt the room closing in on her, her imagination racing with possibilities. How many layers of their family history had she overlooked? What sacrifices had her grandparents made that shaped their lives? We need to know everything, she said, her resolve strengthening. The old man's eyes gleamed. Then we will start tonight. As he began to unfold the pages, the kitchen filled with an eerie light, revealing ancient handwritten recipes alongside journal entries filled with forgotten dreams and fears. Sarah and Jake leaned closer, enveloped in a warm glow amidst the brewing chaos of the storm. Listen, Grandpa continued, his voice barely rising above the swelling winds outside, it's not just about saving the diner. It's about rediscovering who you are as a family. The heart of the diner beats with your ancestor spirit. It must stay alive, or it will fade into memory. A crack of lightning illuminated the room momentarily, casting shadows that danced around them. Sarah felt a mix of excitement and dread. This knowledge could be a treasure or a curse. We can do it. Together, she whispered to Jake, uncertain about whether she was trying to convince him or herself. Suddenly, a loud bang hit the door, rattling the entrance as if trying to plead with them to listen. The lights flickered again, threatening the fragile atmosphere that had filled the diner with hope. Stay close, Jake warned, flexing his fingers, ready for anything. The old man clenched his jaw, the truth can be scary. But this is your chance to reclaim what's yours. Just then, amidst the chaos of cracking thunder and howling winds, a mysterious silhouette appeared on the diner's porch, their figure almost silhouetted against the storm. Who was this intruder? A friend, or another secret waiting to unfold? Sarah's heart raced again, the pulse of uncertainty echoing around her as they stood shrouded in the shadows of family legacies. What awaited them beyond that threshold? The door swung open, allowing a gust of wind to sweep into the diner, pulling everyone's attention toward the stranger. The silhouette stepped inside, water dripping from a dark raincoat, revealing a familiar face that sent ripples of shock through Sarah's gut. Evelyn? She breathed, barely able to formulate a coherent thought. Her older sister hesitated, looking equally surprised. The last time they had spoken, it had been heated, a culmination of misunderstandings and unspoken resentment swirling between them. Sarah's heart sank. This was the last person she expected to see tonight, and certainly not like this, shrouded in rain and mystery. Why are you here? Jake asked, his protective instinct flaring. He positioned himself slightly in front of Sarah, sensing the tension thickening the air. I came to find you both, Evelyn stammered, removing her coat and revealing a vibrant yellow rain slicker beneath. I heard about the diner. I couldn't stay away. Find us? After all this time? Sarah couldn't keep the hurt from her voice. Why now? The old man watched closely, his expression a mixture of curiosity and concern, as if he understood the complexities of sisterhood better than either of them. He nodded slowly, encouraging Evelyn to continue. Evelyn moved closer, her eyes darting to the papers on the counter, the ancient recipes and emotional entries that linked Sarah and Jake to their roots. I didn't know what was happening here, but then I started getting texts from folks in town, people saying the diner was in trouble. I had to come back. I had to help. Help? You left us. Sarah blurted, her chest tightening with old frustrations. You turned your back on the family when we needed you most. And now you think you can just waltz back in and fix everything with your big ideas? That's not fair, Sarah, Evelyn shot back, her voice rising. You know it wasn't just about you or the diner for me. I had to find my own way. But I have skills now, I could really bring something to the table. Jake side-eyed Sarah, gauging her reaction. The storm outside seemed to amplify their tension, the raindrops pounded against the windows like tiny fists demanding to be let in. Your skills? Sarah's tone softened, becoming more contemplative as the flood of emotions began shifting. Do you really think you can save this place from closing down? Yes, Evelyn stated, with a quiet strength that sent a shiver down Sarah's spine. I've been working as a consultant for small businesses, handling crises just like this one. I can help rejuvenate the diner. We can build something together again. The old man, still grounded in this moment, stepped closer, feeling the stirring potential between the sisters. Sarah, your family's legacy is being offered to you anew. The heart of the diner has always been about community and togetherness. Perhaps this is the moment to let go of the past and embrace the future. Sarah's mind raced. Memories of fights and laughter overwhelmed her. Here was her sister, seemingly a stranger yet a part of the peace she thought long lost. Was it possible for them to find common ground? Could they mend what had been shattered? Before Sarah could respond, another loud crack echoed outside, the diner trembling as if in response to the tumultuous emotions swirling around them. Outside, the storm raged on, wild and chaotic, mirroring the confusion in her heart. Take some time to think about it, Evelyn urged, sincerity lacing her words. But I believe there's hope here if we can just let the past stay in the past. A long silence hung between them, thick with possibility, doubt, and an unexpected longing. Could this seemingly random reunion be the turning point in their floundering family legacy? With her heart pounding, Sarah knew this moment might define not only the diner's fate but their entire family's future. As she exchanged glances with Jake and then her sister, she grappled with a question whose answer could change everything. Was she brave enough to embrace not just her past, but also her sister's hand reaching out to her, behind the veil of rain and thunder? Did they have the strength to reclaim their family story together? The weight of silence pressed down on Sarah like a heavy cloud. The storm outside heightened every glance, every heartbeat, turning anticipation into restlessness. Evelyn's presence was both a comfort and a jarring reminder of everything they had lost. Each flicker of her sister's eyes seemed to echo the years of hurt memories tangled in betrayal and longing. Jake was the first to break the quiet. "How about we all sit?" he suggested softly, pulling two chairs close, weathering the emotional storm brewing between the sisters. "We should all talk this through." "There's a lot to discuss," Sarah murmured, her heart already torn between hesitation and the glimmer of hope Evelyn's return offered. The diner, once a place of warmth, felt like a battleground. As they settled into their seats, Evelyn's gaze drifted to the diner's walls, each speck of dust and worn-out booth a fragment of their history. "I remember how excited you were to take over," she said, a gentle nostalgia threading her tone. "You loved this place." Sarah nodded, her thoughts racing. "Before you left, it was our dream together, wasn't it? Then it felt like you just abandoned it." "I didn't abandon you," Evelyn countered, passion fueling her words. "I just had to find my own path. You have no idea how hard it was to walk away, to forge my own identity." "Then why come back now?" Sarah asked, her voice catching in her throat. "Why should I trust that you want to help?" "Because I've seen the impact of community," Evelyn replied, leaning forward, her eyes earnest. "I know what it means to bring people together. I've spent years helping businesses like this one succeed. I want to share that experience with you. And I want to repair our bond. I miss us." Those few words struck a chord deep within Sarah. She felt her defenses start to soften. Maybe Evelyn had changed, just as Sarah had. This was a chance for renewal, a chance to build something stronger. Just as the storm outside raged on, a different kind of storm could reshape their lives entirely. "I don't know if I can just forget everything," Sarah confessed, pain lacing her voice. "But I see that you're trying. Maybe holding on to the past is too heavy to carry alone." Jake watched closely as a flicker of warmth passed between the sisters. The old man, quietly observing the scene unfold from his usual spot at the counter, cleared his throat. "Life has a way of bringing us back to what matters: family, community, heart. Maybe you both have more in common than you think." With every word, the cracks in Sarah's walls began to widen. Could they really emerge as a family again? Was there a way to mix their past with their aspirations for the future? A wave of emotion surged inside her, holding the promise of mended hearts. "All right, let us see what your ideas are," Sarah finally said, the words flowing out before she could second-guess herself. "But I need to hear the truth. What is your vision for the diner?" Evelyn beamed, her confidence sparkling. "I had some thoughts on a community event that could draw in locals while showcasing what you're already doing here. We could celebrate the diner's history and highlight your family's recipes." I know there's a lot of love in those dishes. Before Evelyn could finish, a loud crash of thunder silenced her, the lights flickering ominously. The tension in the diner felt charged, as if the energy had culminated in that singular moment. The old man sighed. Sometimes storms are necessary to clear the air and pave the way for growth. You'll need courage, and a little faith. Sarah felt a tremor of unease as she glanced at Evelyn. There was so much to unravel still. If they were to save the diner, they'd have to confront not only their shared dreams but their biggest fears. With the storm still raging outside, signaling the turbulence that lay ahead, she realized that the real journey was just beginning. How deep did the road to reconciliation run, and could they really map out a new future together? What would happen next when they faced the shadows of their past head-on? The air crackled with energy as the wind howled outside, rattling the windows of the diner. Evelyn's enthusiasm radiated against the bleakness of the storm, igniting a flicker of hope in Sarah's heart. Yet, with every moment that passed, doubts lingered like shadows, creeping back into her mind. "Let us really talk this out," Sarah said, her voice steadier than she felt. "If we're going to do this together, then we need to lay everything on the table." Evelyn leaned back, a mixture of excitement and wariness shining in her eyes. "Okay, but you have to understand my past, everything that led me to leave. I had to break away to discover who I really was." "I get that," Sarah replied, drawing her fingers nervously over the tabletop. "But you don't know what it's like to work day in and day out, pouring everything into this place. I felt like I was left to bear that alone." Her words, though edged with pain, also carried a hint of the weight lifting off her shoulders. "I didn't know, and for that, I'm sorry," Evelyn said, her voice softening. "But what if we focus on the future instead of being shackled by the past? What if we started fresh with new ideas and renewed energy?" Jake interjected, sensing the shift in mood. "It sounds like she has some good intentions, Sarah. This could be the chance you both need to redefine what the diner means to you both." A flicker of appreciation spread across Sarah. Jake's support was invaluable. He always had a way of seeing the light even in shadowy times. But even amidst her weighed decisions, she needed to steer this ship herself. "What do you propose then, Evelyn? What does your vision look like?" Evelyn straightened in her chair, her hands animated as she spoke. "I envision a vibrant monthly gathering, something that brings the community together. We could have local artists, food stands showcasing family recipes from the area, live music, and storytelling sessions. A real celebration of what this diner stands for and what our family meant in this town." "Celebrating our history, I like that idea," Sarah acknowledged, allowing herself to dream of the possibilities. "But this can't just be about you or me. It has to involve everyone that this diner touches." "The staff, the customers," Evelyn nodded. "Exactly. It's a chance to involve everyone and remind this community why they love coming here. Plus, we can do it together, plan and strategize side by side." As the storm outside let out a fierce gust, Sarah locked eyes with her sister. She could see the sincerity in Evelyn's expression, the hope that reflected her own. Maybe there was enough ground beneath their feet to support them both. "I'll think about it," Sarah said, her voice gaining strength. "But I need your honesty. How are we going to manage this together? What if we clash? What if it creates more tension?" Evelyn reached out, her fingers lightly brushing against Sarah's. "We can communicate, set clear boundaries, and respect each other's visions. This has to work for both of us to succeed." The sound of laughter from the extractor fan overhead broke through the moment, reminding them of the bright memories connected to the diner. Evelyn's touch resonated warmth where coldness once lingered, and for the first time in a long while, Sarah believed that change was possible. But with hope dancing on the edge of her heart, a tremor of anxiety lingered. The last thing she wanted was to risk everything again. Was she prepared to open herself up to this venture again? The diner, once the center of their childhood, now stood as a canvas for their potential. Yet, as Sarah felt the weight of choice bearing down on her again, the question loomed large: how could they truly navigate the waters of partnership while grappling with their unresolved pasts? Suddenly, a loud crash of lightning surged outside, illuminating the diner with blinding brilliance before plunging it back into darkness. Jake quickly reached for his phone, illuminating the room. Maybe that's a sign we should go for it while we still have the light. As they all shared a laugh, the tension in the air lightened, but the undercurrent of uncertainty remained. Could this light, even in the storm, guide them to a brighter future? What would they discover about each other and themselves along the way? The diner pulsed with energy, but not just from the storm outside. With each flicker of the overhead lights, Sarah felt the weight of her decision shift like shifting winds. She could see the spark in Evelyn's eyes and knew this was more than just revamping a diner, this was about healing their fractured bond. "Alright, let's lay out a plan," Sarah said slowly, her breath catching on the possibilities that hung in the air. "We need to set specific roles. I have to know what you're willing to take on." Evelyn nodded, her fingers drumming nervously on the tabletop. "I can handle the marketing and outreach. I know how to bring in performers and artists. My contacts can help fill the diner with life." "Good start," Sarah said, letting out a breath she didn't realize she was holding. "I'll manage the operations and the staff. They trust me, and I think together, we can rally them behind this vision. But we need to communicate like you said. No more resentment." A thunderclap echoed outside, rumbling like the uncertainty still hiding in their hearts. Yet, amidst the storm, there was a spark of excitement that ignited Sarah's spirit. Maybe they could transform not just the diner, but their relationship. "I want to approach the community, too," Evelyn added, her enthusiasm bubbling like the coffee pot brewing behind them. "We could ask for input, perhaps even feature some of their hidden talents." "I like that," Sarah replied, her lips curling into a smile. "And we can post notes around town to gather ideas. It'll bring people in, make them feel invested in what we're doing here." Jake, leaning on the counter with a grin, chimed in, "This is happening. I can help you spread the word too. Social media can amplify everything. Just a few posts and you might see an avalanche of interest." The weight lifting, Sarah felt a thrill surge through her. For the first time in months, she saw a glimpse of the future. A future that was brighter, richer, full of community and connection. But beneath that joy lurked the whisper of doubt. What if this all collapsed? What if they failed to truly collaborate? "Okay," Sarah said, her voice strong yet vulnerable, "let us set a deadline. We can organize our first gathering in a month. That gives us time to prepare and build up anticipation, but it also keeps the pressure on us to stay focused." "Deal," Evelyn said fervently, their handshake sealing their promise. It was such a simple gesture, but within it held the weight of their sisterhood, the strength of hopes and dreams woven together. As they discussed their visionary plans amidst the storm, Sarah couldn't help but feel an unfamiliar warmth in her chest, a flicker of trust blooming, even as the storm raged on outside. But just then, the power cut again, plunging the diner into chilling darkness, a stark reminder of the uncertainties that still loomed over them. "Guess that's nature's way of saying it's time for a break," Jake joked, but his eyes glimmered with concern as he glanced at both sisters. Evelyn's voice broke through the silence, calm but teeming with the storm's energy. "Let us take a moment, breathe a little. We've got a plan, and we can tackle it together. We're stronger as a team." Sarah took a deep breath, feeling the weight of her sister's words. Yet, as the wind howled outside, she pondered if she truly was ready for this team dynamic. Could she allow herself to trust again? As she considered their path forward, Sarah felt the storm outside mirror the turmoil inside her. Would this gathering be the beginning of a new chapter for them or another misstep in their complex journey? "Let us just hope the lights stay on for this one," she said, a nervous laugh escaping her lips as she felt the tension rise again in the air. But no sooner had she spoken than the lights flickered back on, illuminating the diner once more. With renewed clarity, they all exchanged glances, understanding that they were building something remarkable even if the future remained shrouded in uncertainty. What would happen once they ventured into the unknown? Would they reach their goal, or would the shadows of their past pull them under? The lights flickered to life, casting a warm glow that had been absent mere moments ago. Laughter and chatter resumed, the diner's heartbeat pulsing once again. But for Sarah, the lingering darkness within was harder to chase away. She watched closely as Evelyn animatedly spoke with Jake about potential events. The spark that flickered in Evelyn's eyes made Sarah both envious and hopeful. "Let us brainstorm some ideas right now," Evelyn suggested, pulling out a notepad and pen from her bag. "What kind of nights can we host? An open mic? A poetry slam? Live music?" "I love it," Jake replied, bouncing on his heels. "The musicians in this town are incredible. I bet we could get some good talent." As the pair excitedly bounced suggestions back and forth, Sarah's heart raced. She felt the enthusiasm in the air but couldn't shake her concerns. "What about food?" she asked, finally interjecting. "We want the menu to reflect what we're trying to create here." Evelyn chewed on her pen, deep in thought. "We could do themed nights. Like comfort food for the open mic, or maybe a special drink for each artist that performs. Or signature dishes that celebrate local flavors," Sarah added. Jake clapped his hands together. "Yes. That'll create a connection too. Everyone loves a taste of home." Sarah felt a smile tugging at her lips, yet fear loomed in the background. What if they didn't follow through? She had been let down too many times before. "Hey," Evelyn said, noticing Sarah's hesitant expression. "Are you okay? You're quiet." "Just thinking," Sarah said. "I want this to work. I need it to work. But I can't shake feeling like we might fail." An uneasy silence settled as the weight of truth lingered in her words. Jake shifted, looking between the sisters. "It's okay to feel that way. Change is scary. But remember, you both have each other. You're not alone in this." Evelyn scooted closer to Sarah, her voice softening. "We're in this together. Remember what we talked about? Trusting each other? I won't let you down this time." The sincerity in her sister's voice sent a warmth through Sarah's heart. She had to believe. They had to believe. "All right," Sarah said, steadying her breath. "Let us write everything down. All ideas, no matter how wild they may seem. We can refine them later." As Evelyn jotted their thoughts on the notepad, Sarah felt the flicker of fear slowly transform into sparks of possibility. But before they could dive deeper into brainstorming, the door swung open with a gust of wind, causing a few scattered napkins to dance across the floor. A stranger stepped inside, drenched from the downpour, dripping water everywhere. "Sorry to barge in like this," the man said, shaking off like a dog. "But I couldn't resist. This place looks alive. What's going on?" The sudden intrusion pulled Sarah from her reverie. She exchanged a glance with Evelyn, and they both felt the spark of something fresh in the air, all the potential waiting to be claimed. Laughter bubbled again, mixing with the storm's fury outside. "Just planning to breathe new life into this joint," Sarah replied, her voice steadier than before. "What are your thoughts on community gatherings?" The stranger, intrigued by their conversation, shrugged off soaked clothing as he took a seat. "I've seen a lot of diners, but not many have that kind of energy. I'd love to help if you'll have me." Sarah's heart raced. Could this unexpected encounter be a sign of more to come? As the storm intensified outside, the diner remained a haven of hopeful possibility. This stranger could be the first of many, and it hit Sarah then the real depth of what they were doing here. They were rebuilding not just a diner but the connections that mattered, one stranger and one story at a time. Would this chance meeting be the spark that ignited the flame of their vision, or would it fizzle out as quickly as it started? The questions lingered, the new connections waiting to unfold in the warmth of the diner, but uncertainty loomed like thunder. What if the true test was yet to come, and would they stand firm together when challenges arrived? The diner hummed with life, a warm embrace against the storm that poured relentlessly outside. With every passing minute, the excitement filled the air as Sarah, Jake, and Evelyn ventured forward into this new chapter, ready to honor their family legacy. The rain continued to pelt against the windows, but inside, amidst chatter and a love for community, the focus shifted to plans emerging from the heart. "Let us make this a place where people share stories," Sarah proposed, glancing at the curious stranger now drying off in a booth. "A story from Grandma's recipes, a piece of history shared over a meal." "I love it." Evelyn's face lit up, her earlier doubts fading. "We can host Story Hour. Invite locals to share tales about their connections to the diner, maybe even childhood memories in these very booths." Jake nodded enthusiastically, his hands animatedly showcasing ideas. "Let us lead with creativity. It could be our way to celebrate the warmth of this community, our family's place in it." The stranger perked up, his eyes lighting with curiosity. "And if you need musicians, I can get you in touch with some talented friends. Local artists love these opportunities." Suddenly, the diner felt like a canvas, each brushstroke vibrant with potential. Sarah breathed deeply, her heart swelling with a mix of relief and hope. They could transform this place, nurturing it back to life, while weaving in the stories that gave it depth. As they brainstormed, something shifted in Sarah. The burden of uncertainty transformed into a flame of conviction. The diner wasn't merely a business, it symbolized their family bond, a lineage of love fueled by generations. That night, as laughter boomed and ideas flowed, the walls echoed with warmth. The legacy that once felt heavy now shimmered with possibilities like the soft light glow from above. "I can't believe we're doing this," Evelyn exclaimed, giddily clapping her hands. Yet, as they wrapped up their initial plans, Sarah's heart held a lingering caution. "Let us not forget about our dad. We need to include him in this." "I agree," Jacob chimed in. "If we talk to him, share our ideas, maybe he'll feel part of it too. He built this place with his own hands, we can't move forward without his blessing." With their resolve strengthening, Sarah stepped away to call her father. The line rang, the anticipation muting the chatter around her. "Dad, it's Sarah, we have some exciting news about the diner. Can you come in tomorrow?" Much to her surprise, a kind smile softened her father's gruff voice on the other end. "I'd love to, sweetheart. I've missed the place." When she returned to the table, the exuberance between them lifted like a balloon. This wasn't just about the work ahead, it was about family healing. That evening, they decided to host their first gathering, a celebration of family and community, blending stories, music, and food in a joyful collision. Enthusiasm took over as they divided responsibilities. Jake would handle social media, while Evelyn crafted the event layout, and Sarah planned the menu featuring Grandma's beloved recipes alongside local favorites. And the following weeks, the diner blossomed like spring flowers breaking through winter's frost. Flyers filled with event details adorned community boards while excitement coursed through Sarah's veins. The anticipation grew like wildfire as the day approached. Finally, the day of the gathering dawned, brightening the storm-drenched sky. As townspeople flocked to the diner, the delicious aroma wafted through the air, mingling with laughter and chatter. Sarah's nervousness swirled like the storm clouds outside, but the electric energy fueled her spirit. People arrived, families, friends, and even the stranger who had joined their brainstorming session was back, helping set up tables. Each story etched in warmth, every customer felt like family, gathering around the hearth of what the diner stood for. As the evening unfolded, Sarah stood behind the counter, her heart racing with joy. She watched the community enveloping her and her family. Evelyn and Jake buzzed with excitement, running between tables, ensuring everyone was comfortable, their smiles infectious. Then came the moment she anticipated the most. Her father walked through the door, weary but smiling. "Hey, kiddo," he said, as if he walked right back home. The diner, their family's legacy, was alive and thriving, and in that moment, Sarah saw the weight of history transformed into something promising. "Welcome home, Dad," she beamed, stepping forward to embrace him with a warmth she had long desired. "This place looks different." "Different in a good way," he nodded, scanning the lively diner. "What have you all been cooking up?" As her father sampled the dishes, she shared stories of how they infused the diner with fresh ideas while preserving traditions. He listened intently, a glimmer of pride sparking in his eyes. Amidst the storytelling and laughter, she could feel the past melting away, replaced by a newfound connection stitched together by love, resilience, and family. With each passing hour, Sarah understood that they emerged from the tempest not just as restaurateurs but as a family united. Hand in hand, they transformed their struggles into a celebration of life, their hearts beating together as one. That evening would mark the beginning of countless memories, a rebirth not just for a diner but for a family that had embraced both change and legacy. As they closed the doors, laughter echoed through the walls. The storm was finally at peace. The real battle had been won through unity, and that, Sarah realized with every fiber of her being, was worth celebrating. You need to subscribe now to catch every exciting moment of our journey ahead. Leave a like now to help more people discover our stories and support this channel. Comment your favorite part of the transformation you just witnessed. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this incredible reunion. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand the vital importance of this support.